Misty!
Uncle Andy! What are you doing? What are you doing in my showroom?
I just got out of jail and I'm reopening Double Play.
I don't think so, Andy. You need to get all this crap out of here, or else you're going back to jail.
Come on, Taryl, you gotta help me out. These action figures is all I got. You gotta help me, Taryl, come on. Soon it will be Christmas Day.
Well, seeing how it is the holidays, Andy, I guess you can keep your little baseball card shop here. But just don't buy any doctored up baseball cards or stolen goods or something that's gonna get me in trouble too. Otherwise, we'll both end up in jail.
I learned my lesson on that, Taryl.
Hey! What's going on? What do we got going on here? What are you selling, lawnmower parts and sports collectibles now?
There's a little side store over here.
What is this Double Play? I never heard of that. What is this?
Yeah, action figures and collectibles. VHSs.
Okay, cool. Well, you got my Yankees or what?
Yeah, we got a couple of Yankees, guys. Why don't you come check it out? Got David Cone right there.
Oh, David Cone. Oh, this is great. When I was living in the Bronx, me and the old man used to walk around the neighborhood and run into them.
Yeah.
And around 95 when they won.
No, they actually won in 96.
No, it was 95, I'm positive.
No, you're wrong. It was 96.
Trust me, guy, it was my life, all right? I would know.
You're wrong. It's 96, all right?
No, it's 95, all right? You know what, hot shot? I'll look it up.
All right.
Jeez. Yeah, let's see. All right, look at that. When did the Yankees win the 95, 96? Yeah. All right, maybe you were right. Yeah, I'll just take these two. How about $30 for the pair?
Oh, well, actually, it says 6 and...
Yeah, $30. Take it or leave it.
All right, I'll take $30.
All right, here you go, guy.
All right, thanks.
All right, cool. The old lady sends me up here to get lawnmower blades. I end up buying action figures. She's going to be real thrilled.
Oh, that's great.
All right, have a good day.
You too.
Andy, you're stealing my business away.
Sorry, Taryl. People need their starting lineups.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to run a business here too. That guy was gonna buy some lawnmower blades. Instead, he bought toys.
Don't worry, Taryl. I'll take care of you. Do you like Brian Thompson?
Ooh, this is a very nice setup you have.
Oh, thanks. You look really familiar.
I don't think we've ever met.
They don't call him the doctor for nothing.
Oh, the doctor? I don't think I can sell these. That would be wrong.
Aw, come on. I'll make you a real good deal on them. Turn this place from a double play into a triple play.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So, do you buy action figures?
Taryl Dactal here, and today we're gonna work on this here Echo little mini cultivator, or tilter plow, or garden scratcher, as I always like to call it. So this came into the shop, and it said on the tag, "Get running." So we're gonna show you what it takes to get something like this running, something little tiny 2-cycle. So the first thing I'm gonna do is take the air cleaner off, because this thing looks pretty new. So I'm pretty confident, like most of this lawn equipment, that it's a fuel issue. So I'm gonna take a little carb spray that we use as like starting fluid, and I'm gonna spray it in there, make sure the switch is on, and see what happens. Okay, so it runs and dies. So that tells me it's a fuel issue. So the next thing I'm gonna do is drain out all this old fuel. And it looks pretty nasty. Now I know what some of y'all are thinking. Taryl, that's a 2-cycle engine. You shouldn't have sprayed that carb spray in there. You're gonna seize that engine up. You shouldn't do that. Well, you're wrong. I sprayed that in there just as a troubleshooting tool, just to get it to run for a few seconds. It's not gonna burn up in that short amount of time. So just take it easy, just relax, sit back down. If we were to continuously spray that in there for like 5 minutes, yeah, then we could do some internal engine damage. But as a troubleshooting tool, that few seconds is fine. So let's get a container and dump that nastiness out of there, because it looks pretty nasty. And of course, I'm going to be pouring it into another nasty container. Oh, look at it. Oh. So this has a purge bulb. So I'm going to pump that bulb. So that way, if there's any remnants, we can get it out. Now you noticed I didn't call it a primer bulb. I called it a purge bulb. Because what that bulb does, it doesn't prime it. It purges it. So when you pump that thing, sucks the fuel out of the tank, runs it through the carburetor, dumps it back in the tank, like recirculates it. So that way, when you put the choke on, there's already fuel in the carburetor. That's to make it easier to start. So this stuff is pretty bad. There's a lot of griminess in there. I don't know if cameraman can see in there or not. Think you can see in there? How about if I get a light? Shine a light on me. You can see. So we're gonna try to loosen that stuff up. Again with the carb spray. Try to dissolve some of that. And it's working. And then pour, oh, look at the nastiness. Look at the nastiness. Oh my goodness. All right, so something else I see right off the giddy up and go is that nastiness, because there's a fuel filter in the tank. See? That nastiness done ruined the fuel line. Oh, the fuel line's ruined. And the little fuel filter, I'm sure, is dirty. So we're gonna need to replace the fuel line, the return hose. This little purge bulb should probably be replaced. And since we're gonna do all that, we might as well take the carburetor off and take a peek inside. So I know you all are concerned about my knees all the time, and thank you very much for your concern, but my knees are fine. I do need a lot of pad. I did have those lift tables at one time. You know what they ended up being? They just were clutter collectors. All they did was collect clutter, and I got rid of them because I could fix them faster on the floor. So we're gonna put this on the bench though, because it's tiny enough. All right, we got it up on the bench, and somehow this just doesn't feel right. So I'm gonna put it back on the floor and work on it. I'll put it wherever I want to. It's my shop. I'm gonna try to get the fuel filter out of the tank. So there's the fuel filter. So that needs to be replaced. Look at it. We had some guys in here the other day that had a backpack blower, and their backpack blower didn't run very well, and it was the fuel filter. Kind of looked like that. So that's something to check. And then I'll go ahead and pull this fuel line off. And this other line. Fuel line, return line. I think that was the return line. This is the fuel line. Here's your tank vent. That's what vents the fuel tank, not the gas cap. This is not a vented cap. This is your fuel, your gas tank vent, this little white thing. And then we might as well go ahead and replace this bushing too, this tank bushing. Now they do make a kit where you can buy it for these Echoes or Echoes. that come with this, just like this, with the fuel filter on the end. They do make a kit. And then now we'll remove the carburetor, which is just these 2 screws. This thing's pretty simple to work on. Pull that out. Take this all off at once. My brother Farrell, he's into that 3D printing, and he 3D prints these little levers when they break off at his shop. So now the carburetor basically fell off. So all you have to do is unhook this cable, which just slides out of here like this. Very simple. And here's our gasket, which still looks good. So we're gonna leave that alone. Now we're gonna pull the carburetor apart. So before I disassemble this carburetor, I like to get it clean first. So I'm gonna take it to my parts washer and clean it real good. So if you don't have a parts washer, you know, you could spray it off with some carb spray and a little brush to clean it, or you can clean it in a container with some soapy water, some dish soap. You know, there's a few different ways to clean it if you don't have a parts washer. But it makes it a lot easier to work on once it's all cleaned up. So we're gonna remove this half first by taking off the 4 screws. This is a Zama carburetor, and now we can pop this off. And look at that. See? This thing hasn't ran in probably 5-6 years, I would have to guess. Because it still had fuel in it. But look, that thing's hard as a carb. So even if the fuel lines were good and we put fresh fuel in it, it still wasn't going to start. And look at that beautiful yellow. Isn't that a pretty yellow? So we need some carb spray to clean it.
Ooh, look at that. That's nice and clean now.
And then we're going to want to check with a little pick type tool with a point on it, because they do put a sealer on some of these little Welch plugs or freeze plugs, and a lot of times that sealer will deteriorate and come off. So we just want to make sure, just want to gently pick around just in this area. We don't want to start stabbing in this hole. There's a check valve in there, so don't be running no wire in there. There's a little tiny piece of like thin cellophane like plastic that's in there. You don't want to start jabbing in there, because then you just ruin the carburetor. So don't stick nothing in there. There's a little check valve in there. Alright? You got that? Now let's take this side off. This is the fuel pump side. This has got the fuel pump. See? There's the Zama. It says Zama on there. Big Zama mama. More yellow nastiness. So be careful when you spray with carb spray. It can spray back in your eyes. So make sure you got some glasses or goggles on, and try not to full force this thing. Just kind of gently squeeze push down on the button of the carb spray. You don't want to get this stuff in your eye. It burns, boy. Woo, it burns. Now this is a little screen in here that we can dig out. That's a little screen, and we want to take that out because there's more nastiness underneath. There could be. And we want to spray that out too. Any nastiness that's underneath there. And here's our needle valve. We want to make sure that goes up and down. So I'm going to push down on that and spray some carb spray in there and try to let it run through. Because this needle here is on the other side of this where we just took that screen out. So again, there's a little hole down in the bottom there. Don't be jamming no wires in there, because you're just going to jam them into that rubber tip. So let's go ahead and take that out. So here's another Phillips. Take that screw out. Be careful, it's real teeny tiny. And here's our little hinge. And there's a little tiny spring. And here's our needle. We want to check to make sure it ain't got any of that yellow nastiness. Check the tip of the needle, make sure it's not distorted or falling off. It looks pretty good. And then we'll spray some more of that nastiness out of there. Okay, so now we need to look up the proper carburetor kit for this. So all the information we need is on this carburetor. So right down in here, which on the piece of equipment would be blocked because the screw would be going through there that holds it onto the engine. So right there it says C1U. So that's the model of this carburetor. It's a C1U. And then over here, looks like K82. So this is a C1U K82. C1U K82. C1U K82. So we're gonna go to Zama's site and we're gonna look up this carburetor and we're gonna look up the kit. Alright, now here's the rest of this. Now see this kind of material here, this like cellophane type material, that's what basically that little check valve's made out of, that's in there. And it's real small. Probably about the size, that little check valve's probably about the size of that hole. Who knows, maybe when they punch these out and they got that little piece left over where they punched out that hole, maybe that's what they use for the check valve. And then we need to scrape that gasket off. So one other thing while we're here, Sten's makes this fuel system maintenance kit. Now they make a few different ones. Most of them will work. The only difference is the hoses may be longer, so the only thing you may have to do is cut the hoses down. So this is 610401 from Sten's. And inside the kit is your new fuel filter. And that's also got a part number on it. And here's the fuel lines with the grommet. And here's your tank vent. And there's some instructions, or as I like to call it, a love note. Here's a love note they sent us. Don't forget to read the love note.
Dear Taryl, we love that you're replacing our fuel lines. Please get back to me as soon as possible. I love you. Sten's.
Sten's. That was nice of Sten's. Alright, I'm going to get a new pad to put all my parts on because this is making a mess. Oh, how about this? We're going to replace that. So that I get from Zama. So I buy these in a pack of 10. So the part number I'm going to give you is on there, but you're going to get 10 of them. So here we are at Zama's website. And then you want to go over here to support, and then parts and service, carburetor lookup. Click on that, and here we are. Bam! And this is what we got. C1U, K82. So here's C1U. See, these are all the different carburetors. And these numbers and letters are on the carburetor. So if we had a C1Q, C1M, but we got a C1U, and the little hand says, click on me. Now, we want to find K82. Now sometimes you'll run out of letters and numbers, but it may be further down, so make sure you scroll the whole list. So here we are, K82, C1U, K82, right there. If you wanted to buy that carburetor from Zama, it's $51.32. All right, rebuild kit, which comes with the needle and the little spring and all that, is RB280. That's the part number. And then the gasket and diaphragm kit, which is what we're going to use, is GND167. So RB stands for rebuild, GND stands for gasket and diaphragm. So that's the kit we need for our carburetor. Pretty simple, huh? See? It's the inner screen. There's more to the inner screen than just Facebook and Twitter arguing with people over stupid stuff. So I looked in my Zama box of carburetor kits and I don't have a GND 167. But luckily I own a lawnmower shop and I got a bunch of these GND kits. So I dug through the kits and I found a GND 44, which has got the parts we need in it. So I'm lucky that I got a lawnmower shop and a box full of these, and you don't.
You're being mean, Taryl. Don't be mean.
All right, I'm sorry. So this is what I did is I opened it up. And this is the most important part, is the diaphragm. The diaphragm's got to have these two holes in it. That's what I looked for when I dug through my box of G&D kits. And another thing is I wanted to make sure this fuel pump gasket, all the holes are in the right spot. So I matched it up. Bam! So this GND 44 will also work instead of the 167. Here's that gasket we tore off of there. Match that up. Everything matches. All right. So this kit will work instead of the 167. Now keep in mind, when you're cleaning this carburetor, and if you blow it off with compressed air, don't blow full force into all these little holes, because remember, there's that little check valve that's in there. And if you blow compressed air in there hard enough, you're going to blow that thing right out and you just ruin the carburetor.
You didn't really ruin the carburetor, Carol. It can be fixed.
Yeah, if you buy all the tools from Zama so you can pull that out and replace that check valve. And by the time you buy all those tools, you could have just bought another carburetor. Again, this channel is for the guy working out of his house, not some guy that owns a shop. If you own a shop, you shouldn't be watching this. You should be fixing equipment. So here's our little screen we cleaned. And you should already know all this stuff. We're going to stuff that back in there.
This channel is for the guy who doesn't know.
Okay, now we're going to flip it over. Stick our needle in. It's nice and clean. We're going to hook it onto there. And we're going to get the little spring and try not to lose it. And we're going to drop everything on top. If you got sausage fingers, you're going to have a hard time. This is like being a surgeon, a lawnmower surgeon. Snug that down. Boy, we're still getting that yellow nastiness out of places. Now, you can buy these online. And these are the little metering lever gauges. This is for Walbro, because it's in the W. This is for Zama. We got the C1U. So that anything C1U, C1Q, these carburetors, all these are for this side. All these are for this side. So it's basically flat. And that's how you check your metering. And ours is perfect. That's where you want that, right there. So if you don't have one of these, all you need is something flat to go across there. And if yours is off, you just gotta bend it. You just bend this thing up or down till you get it like that. So that slides over without getting snagged. That's how that works. Then we're just gonna push on it. Make sure our needle is opening and closing. Done. Simple. Now, our gasket and our diaphragm. And then that's going to go like this. These two holes, want that one hole over that. And this thing facing down. Then we're going to put this on there. Want our little hose connector facing that way with the other hose connector. Gasket goes on here. And then our pump gasket, because this is smooth. And that's what we want. We want smooth on the machine part. And then here's our idle screw, and we want that by the butterfly.
I'm just going to go online and just buy one of those $12 carburetors instead of going through all this.
Well, you can do that and hope that the one you order is the right one. Or you can just rebuild it. Okay. Oop. Now we want to put this back on. Like this. The buttoned up. And if you notice, this has got a bigger hole in it on one side than the other. And that's for this to fit into, see? If you got it wrong, that's going to be sticking out. You want that in there like that. There's our gasket. There's no gasket on this side. I don't know why. Maybe they feel that that plastic is enough. There's our choke to the outside. You're going to want to clean this up too. This is a little dirty in here. You can clean that in some soapy water. Or spray it down with some carb spray. Now, our tank is still nasty. So I'm going to take this tank off. If I can get these screws out. Oh. Well, I guess I'm just going to clean it on there. I ain't got time to be messing around. Spray a bunch of carb spray in there and kind of let it soak. We'll come back, rinse it out. plus spray a little on this rag. And I want to wipe this opening here where I got to put that grommet. There was a bunch of fecal matter around there, and I don't want it dragging it inside the tank. We'll swish that around a little. So we're probably going to have to trim some of these back. Now one of these is going to be our main fuel line, which is going to have the fuel filter on it. One is a return line, so it doesn't have to be that long. And that'll be the clear one, is usually the return line. So let's just pull this one out some. And then the other one is going to be our vent, tank vent. So that doesn't really have to be that long either, so we can pull that back. And you can see that's cut at an angle, like a needle. So we're going to trim that off. And that's going to be our main fuel pickup. We're going to put that on. And that we want long, because that's got to lay in the tank. So we're going to shove that in there. And we're going to try to position, because this is our tank vent, we're going to position that up at the top. And then you're going to have to take a screwdriver and help that plug into that hole. Let's put a little lubricant on there. Spray some gel lube on there, which we sell in our online store. Start at the bottom. Get the bottom in, and then try not to stab a hole in it. Just kind of push on it and work it in at the same time as you're pushing on it. There we go. See, now we're in. Okay. So this is our tank vent. So that I'm going to want to cut about right here. Put our tank vent in. That goes up under there. And this is our main pickup line. Make sure that we're down in there enough. Sure we got enough fuel line down in there and we're not kinked. I'm going to cut just this end off. This main fuel line's long enough, so I didn't really have to cut much off. And you can push it in if you got a little excess. And then here's our return line. And I'm just going to cut that right here, close to the carburetor. If it's a little long, that's okay. It's just a return line. You may have to warm it up. Put some lube on there. Now we don't want it kinked. So we got to feed it in. Grab it from the inside and pull on it. There we go. So grab it from the inside and pull on it. Alright, now let's put some dinosaur juice in it. Some 2-cycle dinosaur juice mixed with dinosaur syrup. Now, if you're tuning yours up, you may want to go ahead and put a new spark plug in it. Get yourself an air filter. I'm going to put a new air filter in this one. I'll go upstairs in my parts room and get one. pump this. And it's working. We got fuel in there. And we could see it returning. That's why they want you to put that clear one on there. So that way you could see it being returned.
Oh yeah, it's working, it's pumping.
Flip on the choke. And then we'll set it on the ground and start it because I ain't starting it up on top of the bench. I'm going to give it some gas too. So I'm going to throttle it, hold it wide open and pull it. Take choke off. So we have some adjusting screws on here that have what's called limiting caps. So they limit how far you can open or close it. Now always remember, the screw closest to the engine is your low speed and this is your high speed. So we may have to open this up a little bit. But let's get it running and get it warmed up. You should always adjust the carburetor when it's warm and with the air filter in it. So I stock a Rotary brand Echo air filter. 10759 is the one I stock. All right, let's see how it runs. I got a feeling we're gonna have to open up the low speed a little. Choke it. So I'm going to open the low speed up a little bit, but I can't because these caps are on there. Now you could just pop these caps off, but because the screwdriver stays in there better a lot when you're trying to tune it with the plastics, I like to just cut those little wings off with a pair of side cutters. See? Now I can turn it and get it to open a little more. Let's try that. So it was here. Now we can open it a little more. That's the low speed, because I was getting a little hesitation off of idle. Turn the switch on. Yeah, see, much better throttle response. All I had to do was open it up a hair. So this thing runs good. Boy, that's good. So that didn't take too long. What, about a half hour? Probably faster if I didn't have to sit there and explain everything to you like you're 2 years old. I'm only joking. You're here to learn. Oh. So, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Taryl Fixes All. That's me, bucktooth hillbilly that's always on his knees. I can't stand to watch him work on his knees. So what do you do when the guy comes over to lay carpet in your house? What do you leave or turn your head or go in another room? Oh, he's in the other room on his knees laying carpet. I can't take it. So subscribe to this channel, Crazy Hillbilly Man. Taryl Fixes All. Follow me with your little garden scratchers on Facebook and Instagram. Go to our web store, buy some Taryl apparel, because you're going to need to be wearing this stuff when you're working on your little garden scratchers and driving around in your car and waving at people. Hey, look at me. I know Taryl. Because when you buy this, you know me. You know why? Because I probably touched the shirt you're wearing. I might have even been wearing it. And as always, there's your dinner. Woo! Echo, garbage scratcher! Got her going again. I gotta fill it out and call the guy and get my money.
So, do you buy action figures?
Oh, buy action figures? Oh, no, I learned my lesson from that, all right? I don't do that anymore.
Oh, well, that's too bad. Because I got some hot, and I mean smoking hot, figurines that would be perfect for your store.
Sorry, I'm not interested. Do you want to buy a VHS or not?
Alright, scumbag, you got lucky. We've been keeping a real close eye on you, Uncle Double.
I'm on the straight and narrow now, officer. I swear.
Alright, good. Well, in that case, I'll take that copy of Bubba Hotep and Time Cop on VHS.
If you get one more, it's only $1.
Alright, well, is that Turner and Hooch? Throw that on there too.
All right, there you go.
Oh, $1? Here's 2. Stay on the straight and narrow.
Come on down to Double Play. You may remember the original Double Play. Something happened, but guess what? We're back and we're better than ever. Check out these awesome figurines we got. Hot Wheels, we got Matchbox, we got Starting Lineup. Oh, and we even got VHS back here. Nice little collection. A lot of them I just found in the garbage, so hopefully they work. We're located inside Grass Rat's garage showroom. We're open all the hours that Taryl's open. And when I'm here, maybe I'm here during the day or at night, I don't know. Sometimes I'm sleeping in, you know. You can catch me when you catch me. And I'll work out a deal with you on some goody stuff, all right? Come on down. I'm going out for a steak dinner tonight.